Guys, a much needed win today, 3 points at home at the Bernabeu after Barcelona dropped points against Las Palmas at home. In this video, I'll talk about the 5 things that we learned from this match that will obviously have implications over the next few matches that are coming up. Real Madrid has 3 away games, Athletic Club being the next one, Girona, then obviously the big one, which is Atalanta away, which we need to win because obviously we're in a position in the Champions League where anything less than a win, we don't need to talk about not winning because, to be honest, I'm a little bit worried about the fixtures that we have in the Champions League. Atalanta is not an easy side. If any of you guys watched the game they had against Arsenal or even the game we had against them in the Super Cup final, they are not an easy team to play against. 3 points at home today at the Bernabeu in a game which was really tricky where we could have potentially dropped points. Getafe is not an easy side to play against. They're the team in La Liga that's conceded this. They have the second best record from a defensive perspective after Atletico Madrid. Getafe are known to be terrorists. They defend with 11 players behind the ball. So this was a game where even before the match, Carlo Ancelotti said that we might have to wait till late to actually see a winner. But thankfully, the team actually performed pretty well today and they got across the finish line. Mbappe scored the hardest chance out of the 3 the 3 big chances that he had, where he today, to be frank, he could have scored a hat trick. And the irony is the 2 chances that he should have scored that were easier than the one he did, he missed. But, a step in the right direction. I hope this game and that goal will do a lot for his confidence. Real Madrid now has 3 tough games away from home. The next one being Athletic Club, then Girona, and then the big one, which is Atalanta, a must-win game for us. Atalanta is not an easy side. Atalanta is the same team that beat Bayer Leverkusen. If any of you guys saw their game against Arsenal in the Champions League, this is not a team to sleep on. Very challenging side. You need a full, healthy squad. Tchouaméni is supposed to be back for the next game. Rodrigo obviously was available today. So it's really important to manage the squad and have them healthy, firing on all full cylinders against Atalanta. Because, again, we don't want to be in a position where we embarrass ourselves and don't make it out of the group stage. And one of the ways we ensure that does not happen is just being healthy and fit. Because when Real Madrid has their best players available, there's no team in the world that can beat them. Just the game against Liverpool, to be honest, we easily could have won that match or at least came back with a result. The margins were so thin and we had so many players out. It's actually kind of incredible when you consider the fact that a lot of Real Madrid, you count 6 starters were not available in that game. Well, actually 5 if you count Camavinga. He's the 6th injury. But for the game to be that close, that tight, with those players that were available to Carlo Ancelotti is actually impressive. But considering how badly we played in those first few games against Mallorca, Las Palmas versus now, you are seeing progression. You are seeing an improvement overall. The team is creating more chances. Mbappe is getting in spots where he's actually having more chances on goal. There's less congestion. We're not super left side heavy like we saw early on where, that famous image of Bellingham, Mbappe, and Vinícius all on the left side. It looks like the team is better defensively. It looks like they're creating more chances. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the fact that things look like they're moving in the right direction. But let's quickly go through these 5 things that we learned from this match that will have obviously implications over the next games that are coming up. The first one being that Valverde-Ceballos being in the starting lineup helped the team so much, balancing things out. You could see that a high volume player who's receiving the ball, moving it forward is exactly what this team needs. What we saw is when you have a guy like Valverde-Ceballos who gives you essentially more possession of the ball, he moves the ball, progresses it forward. You see with a guy like Ceballos, it's not just about ball progression vertically, which Carlo Ancelotti has talked about, but just having that balance, that variety of passes out of the back and just having somebody reliable who's moving the ball forward is exactly what this team needs. So if you had to identify one player, a profile in this team for the summer transfer and get somebody, it's a high volume ball progressor, ball playing playmaker who can play the ball out of the back. We look substantially better with him and from a balance perspective. And then the second thing is the accuracy of Valverde's long balls. Valverde hits so many long balls today that you're starting to see that he's consistently hitting these passes reliably. And having somebody in the team who's consistently being able to play long balls is going to be so important, especially with the loss of Obviously, we're in a post-Cruz era, but also with the injury of Militao. So many times Militao would play long balls, and it's just another way to just be a lot more direct and vertical. Having a guy like Valverde on the pitch who's reliably hitting those passes is helping the team so much. Obviously, he played that ball to Jude Bellingham, which led to the goal that Mbappe scored. Valverde finds Jude Bellingham, plays him that ball, and then this brings me to the third point, which is Jude Bellingham and how important he has been to the team in terms of balance. He plays that ball very quickly to Mbappe. Now, when Jude Bellingham comes off at halftime, you see there's a drop in the quality from Real Madrid, both from a defensive point of view and offensive point of view, because he gives you so much without the ball, Jude Bellingham. But one of the things that's very underrated that he does is when he does receive the ball in transitions, he's often taking very few touches. Oftentimes, he takes one touch to control the ball, and then he quickly passes it to either Vinícius or Mbappe, whoever is playing on that side. And that speed is what helps the team move in transitions more quickly. But even when Jude Bellingham comes off at halftime and Brahim plays in that position, he also does. You could tell this is an instruction from Carlo Ancelotti that when you receive those passes in transitions, you need to turn and quickly play the ball, not dwell on the ball, not take extra touches. And that's kind of what's providing more balance to the team is when we are in transition and we recover the ball is then played into that zone, which essentially then it's a quick pass. But then obviously it's really important and incumbent on Mbappe to stay on sides, which brings me to the fourth point, which is Mbappe on the left side just looks a lot more comfortable. Carlo Ancelotti has talked about Vinícius playing more centrally and how he could be more dangerous in that position. We saw him do that for the first time against Manchester City in the Champions League, and Rodrigo played on the left. There's no question Vinícius could be effective playing there. But last season, think about the Champions League. How many times he put the team on his shoulders when he was playing as a left winger, left forward, whatever you want to call it. That is Vinícius's bread and butter because he's a high volume player. He attracts players to him, which ultimately creates more space for his teammates. So when Vinícius is back, which he will be very soon, hopefully, playing Mbappe off the left, obviously Mbappe is a lot more comfortable off the left, but I don't know what kind of implications this has for Vinícius. We know Vinícius is effective in both places, but do you really want to move the best left winger in the world, the best player in the world last season? I don't care about any racist Ballon d'Or people have to say. Vinny off the left is just you can't defend against it. When we have seen Vinícius play down the middle, he's been effective. There's no question he can score goals, he can assist. So that's a big question mark. I don't know what the future looks like with the formation, with fitting both Vinícius and Mbappe in there, but we've seen enough of a sample size of Mbappe at Real Madrid to see that off the left, he's just simply a lot more comfortable. He prefers to cut off the left. But yeah, let's see what Carlo Ancelotti does with that. And the fifth thing that I'll cover in this video is just talking quickly about Raul Asensio and whether he's a good enough center back to be a starter at Real Madrid, and all the signs point to the fact that he is. Not only from a ball progression standpoint, because today Getafe did surprise us. They tried to press the ball high up the pitch. We all expected Getafe to sit in a deep block, but they actually tried to press the ball, which was very surprising. But even more surprising, how calm and collected Raul Asensio was. He played the ball out of the back a few times, found his man, broke lines. I only recall one misplaced pass, and it was in the second half where he tried to play the ball over the top. But for me, Raul Asensio is more than just the passing, which has been excellent. But his overall positional awareness, his focus, he's very good in aerial duels. So all signs point to the fact that this guy looks like he's the real deal. And to think that he was the third choice. I mean, this guy was... It took 2 ACLs for 2 other center backs in Castilla for him to even be called up. That's when you know that it's just something, it's fate, it's something. I mean, I'm really happy for Raul Asensio. Long may this continue. I hope he makes a magnificent career for himself. It looks like David Alaba will be back in January, but is David Alaba going to be higher in the pecking order than Raul Asensio based on these performances that I'm seeing? I don't think so. But the thing that Alaba does provide you is David Alaba's passing is the best of any of the center backs. So in terms of providing balance, David Alaba provides that to you. But so far, Raul Asensio's looked like he's the real deal. Look, there are 3 really important away games coming up. Rudiger and Valverde have hardly gotten any rest. And it doesn't look like they're going to be getting any rest in these upcoming matches because they're all really difficult fixtures. but you need a fresh team against Atalanta because that's going to be the biggest match coming up in the immediate future. Jude Bellingham suffered a knock. It looks like it's not serious. He should be available for the game against Athletic Club. And Rodrigo looks like he's going to be also available. Overall, I thought Rodrigo played really well today. Are you guys optimistic about these games that we have coming up, the next 3 away matches that are obviously going to be very tough fixtures? And who was your man of the match? For me, I give it to Valverde-Ceballos, simply of the fact that Jude Bellingham came off at halftime. Let me know if you guys agree with me. Thank you for watching. Hala Madrid.